library overseeing Buddy, or Wasteland Buddy, if you happen to be exploring the Wasteland, but you're supposed to be in your vault. Anyway, this is part 2 of a 10-part series in my Fallout Shelter strategy guide. Well, now that we started part 2, you'll immediately notice a few things. You'll notice that I've been building out my vault a little bit, and of course I can't actually build the entire vault from 0 dwellers to 200 in just 10 parts. So each time you're going to see some significant improvements each time the next video begins. So I've expanded a lot of the rooms. I've expanded the water room, as you can see. I also expanded the power room. We're going to expand the diner in just a moment. Now, I had a resource emergency when I opened the game up because I forgot to close it properly, and that's going to be a tip a little bit later on, how to close the game properly. Alright, so one of the first things we're going to do is level up the lady. Somebody leveled up to level 2, I think, or maybe 3. Oh, she leveled up to 3. Notice that I gained the same number of caps as her new level. That always happens, so that's another way to gain caps. So like I said, I did build the vault out a little bit, and you'll notice that I expanded the power room and then assigned 4 people to that, expanded the water room and assigned 4 people to that. Now, if you take a look at the top, look at those resources. 2 of them are flashing red, which means that we're having a resource emergency. It's because I didn't close the game properly like I should have. And wouldn't you guess, that's tip number 1. You must exit nicely. This is how you exit your vault nicely. First you open up your Pip-Boy, you then click on the gear, and then you click main menu. Right there. And we're going to do it again because this is extremely important. You can tear your vault apart if you don't do this. Click the Pip-Boy, click the gear, and click main menu. And I'm going to flash tip number 1 on the screen so you don't forget it. Yeah, so for the 3rd time, when you leave, you must exit the game nicely by clicking main menu. And I lied, it's not tip number 1, it's tip number 4. Alright, so anyway, we've got some resources to collect. Let's do that. And I think, we have 2 people to level up too. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to do something very important in a second. Yeah, we collected more caps. In fact, look at all the caps we do have. Now, if we look at the power station, we see that it generates 25. The water treatment plant generates 18. We look at the diner right here. It only generates 8 food, and we're still having a food crisis. So let's let the countdown timer count down to 0, and then we can collect the resource. Then we're going to expand the diner. We haven't expanded one of our diners yet. We do have 2 tiles, but they haven't expanded. So notice that it only generated 8. We're now going to build another diner, and it's not just going to double it, it's going to more than double it. That's the benefit of building and expanding a room. See? There we go. Very nice. Okay, now that we have a 2-tile diner, we can assign 4 people to it, but we don't want to continue expanding it because we only have enough dwellers to fill 1 more tile. See, we could build it here, but we don't because we need 4 more dwellers to fill it, and we only have 3 people that aren't doing anything, including little lady waiting outside the vault door. Alright, so anyway, now that we've built it, they will come. Actually, not exactly. We're going to have to make them come. And that didn't sound right either. And there's a bunch of ways to do that, by the way. One way is to just randomly click on people, drag them to the room, and see what kind of stats they bring to the room. And there's another way to do it. You can click on the roster and look at the blank spaces like this, and you can click on a space and assign a dweller to that space, but that's not a very efficient way to do it because you never know which dweller is actually working. So yet another way to do it is to just look around your vault and click on people that aren't busy. See, she's clearly not assigned anywhere because she's just walking around. So I just clicked on her, Diane Allen. She's got 2 agility, so let's assign her to it. See, and if you drop her over the room, it'll show that she's going to add 2 agility to that room. So that diner will produce resources just a little bit faster. And then let's assign a 4th food service worker. Now we could select her. She's waiting outside, but she only has an agility of 1, so why would we want to do that, right? We've got 2 other dwellers over here. If you saw in the living quarters, there's actually 2 dwellers. Oh, we should collect those resources, actually. Yeah, remember to do that whenever they're ready, because that way you can stay on top of your resources. Okay, now there's those 2 dwellers. Yeah, see, look, they're bored out of their skull. So let's take a look at their attributes. They both have agility of 2. They're both almost dead, too. They got some really bad stuff going on their health bar. Let's just take him. Let's drag him in, and that gives the room 2 more agility. And for the first time ever, we have 4 workers in a diner. And now we should produce food a bit faster. You can see on the roster we've got 4 food service workers if you ever need to check it out. You can also visually just inspect how many people you got in the room. That usually works. Sometimes they're kind of hiding behind another vault dweller. The diner now produces 18 food roughly every 2 minutes. We could rush it if we wanted to put our resource back into the green. If you notice up at the top, our food resource is still in the red. We really need to get that back into the green. That bar that we're trying to hit, it's the minimum requirements for the vault in its current condition. So one thing where you can do, and this is actually the most effective way to assign the right people to the right rooms, is to look at your vault roster. And this roster is accessible by clicking on the gear right here, which also has the current number of your dwellers. And this is really just a list of all of your dwellers along with their level, their attributes, their status, and their current location, like what job they're doing. Now you can sort them by any of those rows, columns, but you can also sort them by a particular attribute. So we started with strength. We're going to go through perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, and at last agility. We want the most agile people in the diner. And if you look at the top of the list, the first 3 people are in fact in the diner, which is where they're supposed to be. But take a look at Carl Peters. Carl Peters has a high agility, but he's in the water treatment plant. He's not in one of the diners, so we can temporarily borrow him, even though we also need help with the water treatment plant. We can better use him to deal with this food emergency. So his outfit doesn't really increase his agility at all, and if you look at this, he's not going to help that room at all, but he will help this room. Agility of 1. We actually should probably collect the resources first. And now take a look at this. The diner is going to produce more resources in 3 minutes 23 seconds. Now if we drag him into here, it's going to plop him into the diner. It's going to take the least skilled worker and swap him. So now she's going to go back up into the water treatment plant. So there's still going to be someone in the treatment plant. Now look at this. It's dropped to 2 minutes 45 seconds. And the timer was already counting down, but we still did shave off a few seconds by putting him in the room. So finally, for the first time since I started the video, all of our resources are in the green. Don't forget to level up your workers. Also notice that every job available in the vault is now taken. So all of the jobs are filled up with 1 vault dweller. There's only 1 person who isn't working up here in the living quarters. Now it's not a good idea to expand your vault just to give people jobs. You kind of want to wait until there's a clear need to add more jobs. There is a need right now because we still have a problem with our food resources. If you look, we're barely satisfying our vault requirements right now. So we probably should expand our diner by 1 more tile. And we do have 2 more workers. There's a guy up here, and then there's also the lady waiting outside the vault door. So we will expand our diner in a second, but meanwhile there's another way that we can try to bump our resources up so we're in the green again. Remember, these diners or any of these resource rooms we're able to rush. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Well, now we're in the green, but we want to stay in the green, so let's go ahead and click the rush button. The incident rate is 30%. Oh, it's worth a gamble. Let's do it. And success, of course. That was pretty lucky. You haven't seen a failure yet, but we are going to have a failure before too long. We could also rush this diner, but let's not do it. Let's not push our luck. There's a resource to collect, don't forget that. And by the way, in the upper left you might notice that little lady is still outside the vault. The reason is because we don't want her inside with nothing to do. There's nothing for her to do, and we don't want her gobbling up the resources. It'll take food and water to support her, and we've already got a problem with that. And also my vault dwellers have a lot of health issues. So if you noticed, a lot of the health bars on most of them are still low. They are recovering now because we're in the green, but they're still pretty low. So we could build a hospital now and start producing Gestims. Now, yeah, take a look at those health bars. It's like they're not very good. The red in the health bar is radiation. So they're all irradiated because we weren't able to purify the water. Now we can, but I think the most important thing to do is to prevent them from dying. So we have to build a hospital so we can start producing Gestims. Here's how you do it. So you notice that we have two new types of buildings to produce. One is the storage room and the other is the med bay. So we're going to go ahead and unlock them. It doesn't cost anything to unlock them, but it doesn't mean that we're going to build. So we don't need to build a storage room right now, but we do need to build a med bay. So we're going to go ahead and unlock those. Like I'll click this and that unlocks it, but see, it takes endurance, and all it does is it increases the number of weapons and outfit slots. We don't need that right now because we're not over even near the limit, but we do need this. See, and it requires intelligence. So for the first time we have a resource room that requires intelligence. Now I could go through and figure out who has the best intelligence factor. Actually, Carl Peters has the best intelligence level, but we're probably not going to use him in there. We just need someone to get some stim packs going. Now, you might wonder where I'm going to put the hospital. Well, the med bay. So let's click it and it'll show us where we can build it. Now, I could latch it onto the end of one of these two rooms, but remember what I said, don't block your rooms, but instead leave your rooms open for expansion. We can expand both of these rooms one more time, so we actually don't want to put it there. It's best to build downward. And you build downward by adding more elevators. So we already did build downward, and there is a rock in the way on this side of the elevator. So I just destroyed it, and now we have enough room to build a med bay. Not only that, but we have room to expand the med bay to 3 tiles. Now let's collect that. And there you go. We now have a med bay. Yay! Now we can assign 1 or 2 people to this med bay, preferably with a fairly decent intelligence level. Now, by the way, also notice that our power requirements increased. See that bar increased? Well, not on the food, but on the power. It's because we added a room. So every time you expand your vault with more rooms, that increases the power requirements, obviously. And those little bars on all 3 of the resource meters, that's the minimum requirements for that resource based on that current condition of your vault. Okay, now we have something for her to do, and she does have an intelligence of 2, so let's drag her and plop her right into the med bay. Yay! And now it looks like we just unlocked yet another room. So we unlocked the science lab. That science lab will make Radaway, and that will cure people of the radiation. Like it'll reduce that red bar. That red bar prevents their health from reaching 100%, so we do have to deal with that pretty soon. Now this guy also has an intelligence level of 3. You might have just noticed that, so we're going to take him and plop him right down into the med bay too. He's quite useful there, and there we go. Collect the resource, and now everyone has a job to do, and the vault is full again. Oh yeah, and look down here really quick. So it says it's taking 19 minutes to produce a stim pack, but now it only takes 7 minutes because we added the second person. So it makes a big difference. And I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is activate the rush right now. I just want to see if we can get a few stim packs going. And yes, we did. Okay, that produced one stim pack. That's not bad. Now, you know, I think we'll produce 3 once we expand the med bay, so that's good. Okay, now I'm going into my inventory, which is that button right there. It's the Pip-Boy and then the button. The reason I'm going into the inventory is just so I can show you that you're able to look at your stim pack inventory too, and the Radaway inventory. Right now we only have 1 gestimmt, so we should use it wisely. And then of course you can look at your weapons and outfits in the inventory too. We have 10 storage slots. Did you see that? I'm actually going to go back into it again just so you're familiar with the interface again. Remember, it's the Pip-Boy, and then you click the inventory icon, which is right there, and then from there you can see your gestimmts, your Radaways, and all your weapons and outfits. So at least we have our med bay producing stim packs now. And you saw how we built the room and where we built the room, and that's actually the next tip. Don't build new rooms blocking the existing rooms if you haven't expanded them. Keep them open and instead build elevators and then build your vault downwards and add new rooms to the deeper levels. That might sound like a waste of money at first, but trust me, it will make your vault much more efficient and you'll save much more money in the long run because you'll be able to produce more with larger rooms that you've been able to build by keeping that extra space open. So remember, you don't just double and triple your production, you more than double and you more than triple your production if you're able to expand your rooms to the left or right. So that's why I build downward, like I just did. Alright, now for pretty much the rest of the video we're going to focus on objectives. Here's the objectives button. It looks like a ribbon. Now I showed this to you last time. The objectives are a great way to produce money and to collect lunchboxes. Lunchboxes are very important because they grant you all kinds of things. Everything from new dwellers to new gear to new weapons. So this one is really easy. It says equip 1 dweller with an outfit. If we do that, then we'll gain a lunchbox. So that's quite easy to do. We do have an outfit. We might have to take the outfit off of somebody. Like this guy has a vault suit, but look at this guy, Carl Peters. Remember, you can change the name of these guys. We're going to do a bunch of name changing next episode, but not this episode. So he's wearing a comedian outfit. Let's put the vault suit back on him, and now we're going to put that comedian outfit on somebody else. And by doing that, we'll satisfy that objective, and then we'll get a lunchbox. Ooh, oh yeah. There's the lunchy box. Alright, so now we got 2 lunchboxes to open up. And that's what that number is right there. It shows that you have 2 lunchboxes waiting. But I want to wait until we accumulate 3 or 4, and then we'll open them up all at once. That's a lot of fun. Okay, the next one is send 1 dweller into the wasteland, sell 1 weapon or outfit. We don't want to do that yet, but we can do this. It says send 1 dweller into the wasteland. We haven't done that yet, so this is actually a good time to teach you how to do that. And by the way, because we don't want to sell 1 weapon or outfit, we can actually change it up. We can click X and then we'll get a new one. Oh, that's really easy. Level up 1 dweller and we get our lunchbox. Oh, awesome. See, now you can only do that 1 day. You can only swap one of the objectives out once each day like I just did, but that's alright. Okay, so let's actually do that first. Let's wait around for one of our dwellers to level up and then we'll get another lunchy box. And by the way, I can't stress how important these objectives are. You should actually play the game in such a way that the main goal is to satisfy the objectives, because then you'll gain caps and you'll win lunchboxes constantly. And that's probably the easiest way to collect the really good rare and legendary items. So now what I'm doing here, I'm just kind of collecting resources, waiting around for someone to level up. Someone should level up pretty soon. I would expect... Oh, there it is. There it is. We have a level up. So now all we have to do is collect it, and then we'll have our 3rd lunchy box. I wonder what level she is. She's probably like level 3. We get 3 caps for that. Hey, that's better than nothing, right? And there's our next lunchy box. And now don't be too hasty. Remember, there's always new objectives once you complete something, so it's best to look into the objectives again and see what else you can do. So now this one says equip 1 dweller with a weapon. Well, let's equip somebody with a weapon. that Vault Boy just came on the screen for a second because because a lot of people are sick. Well, we knew that. Okay, so we just equipped him with a weapon. Now watch this. I'm going to unequip it and put it back in the inventory. The reason is you want all of your weapons to be accessible to anyone in an emergency. If somebody's holding it, then it's not accessible. That's why I disarmed him. Okay, now it says collect 100 food, collect 100 water. Okay, now it's time to send a dweller into the wasteland, and then we'll satisfy that objective. Now, to do that, it's quite easy. We just have to decide who's going to go into the wasteland. Well, let's take a look at our resources. The power room is doing really well. That's actually our best resource right now, so they're not hurting. We should probably choose one of the people that are in the power room to go out into the wasteland. So what about him? What about him? No. What about her? Well, she's pretty irradiated. Now, the only reason we're doing this is just to satisfy the objective. So we're going to recall them right away. We're not going to send them out for 10 hours. He has an endurance of 2. That means that he'll resist damage better than some of the others. So endurance is it's a measure of how good that dweller is at resisting damage. So I just gave him a suit, I gave him a weapon, and we're going to send him out. That's typically what you do when you send someone out into the wasteland. Even though we're going to call him right back, this is how you do it. You just drag his silhouette right into the wasteland itself, somewhere outside the vault door, and then you ploppington, and we'll give him a stim pack. It's always a good habit to give them stim packs and rataways. So we don't have a rataway yet, but we can give them a stim pack. And that's our inventory, and then at the top that's his inventory. So he now has 1 stim pack. That interface is a little strange. It kind of makes it look like that's how many stim packs he had in the lower, but no, his inventory is at the top and then mine is at the bottom, or the vault's inventory is at the bottom. Alright, come on. Now watch the vault door. See, the vault door opens up. Isn't that cute? For some reason, the hydraulic controller didn't activate. I don't know why. It's the hydraulic controller at the top that's mounted on the ceiling. Okay, so we satisfied that objective. And now let's take a look at our objectives yet again. And what we got now? Well, there's still those 2 other objectives to collect 100 food and 100 water, but look what we got again. Level up another dweller, and we'll get another lunchbox for that. That's pretty cool. So those will come up repeatedly, some really easy objectives, but then there will be some very tough objectives, and they get harder and harder, of course, as the game goes along. It does become harder to accumulate lunchboxes, but we'll deal with that. Okay, let's just wait for someone to level up. And actually, while we're waiting, it's time to check on the dweller that we send into the wasteland. Now, to check on dwellers, all I have to do is click the wasteland like I just did. Now, this is the interface. Any dweller that's in the wasteland, the entire army of dwellers that are in the wasteland show up here, and then there's like a next and a previous button. There's only one right now. What I like is that there's a real-time log of what's happening. This is essentially his explorer's log or wastelander's log. See, like people actually live out here. You can watch him heal other wastelanders. You can watch him discover places like he just did. See, the old elementary school. If you click on him, it'll remind you what he's wearing and what weapon he's holding. It also shows his health bar, his level, and such. It shows how many stim packs he has left, too. That's important. He has 1. He still has it. Take a look at this. Time to turn back now. He also fights monsters, and the monster fights will show up in this log too. Anything that he collects in the wasteland, like weapons and outfits, will show up below, like in that green area. There's nothing there because he hasn't discovered anything yet. Okay, well, it is time to recall him, so let's go ahead and click the recall button. And once we click recall, then the button changes back to explore because he's coming back. The button is the action that you'd want to take. That's what it's a little confusing, but when he's kind of running backwards or to the right, that means he's returning. And there's another level up. Woohoo! And we're slowly collecting our water, we're collecting our food to satisfy those other objectives. So I think in a few minutes. Oh, there it is. Level up 1 dweller. Good. So now we have 4 lunchboxes. I think it's time to open up the lunchboxes and then we'll end the game for today. Okay, so this is how you unlock lunchboxes. I did it in the last episode, but it's pretty easy. You just drag them over. Alright, now let's see what we get. This is a lot of fun. We have a lot of goodies coming our way. Okay, we get resources, that's good. So we're not going to have a resource problem with all these lunchboxes. There's a rusty pistol. Okay, it only does 1 damage. That rusty pistol is no better than a fist. A fist also does 1 damage. So we're going to sell this, and that'll satisfy that one objective. Oh man, look at that. Hardened combat shotgun. Now it just needs some shotgun shells. No, you don't need ammo, you just need the weapons. That does 13 to 16 damage. That's our most powerful weapon so far. Okay, we've still got 3 to go. Keep them coming. Next one is... I want a vault dweller, actually. I want like a really powerful vault dweller. 100 caps. There's a laser rifle. Man, I like that. There's our energy weapon of the day. Now we're going to keep those in inventory so anyone can use them. Oh yeah, look at that. Now we can really build some good stuff with that. So we should have well over 1,000 caps at this point. Okay, now the third lunchyboxy gives us formal wear. Good, somebody's going to get lucky tonight. And you put that on, that increases the chance that you'll gain... What's next? Okay, it increases the chance that you'll gain extra caps when you collect resources. That's what that's for. Okay, 50 power, and yes, that's a legendary card. Ooh, nice. Perception +2, endurance +5. So endurance +5 is very important, but we can't use that for anything yet. We don't have any rooms that require endurance. But later on in the game, you'll discover that the Nuka-Cola plants do require endurance. So we're going to hold on to the Sheriff's Duster for a long time. Now, and then, of course, meanwhile, right now, we can put this on somebody in the water treatment plant because that'll add 2 perception to them. And they'll produce the water a little faster. Okay, put that, and we got one last lunchy box. Come on, something good. How about, well, we got 100 caps. We got, nice, it's another laser pistol. It's an amplified laser pistol, that's not bad. And a Radaway, our very first Radaway. And lastly, we get, come on, a good one. Yes, another legendary card. Commander Fatigue, Strength +7. Oh man, that's really going to help us in the power generator. So remember, the power generator requires strength. We're going to slap this stuff on different dwellers now. Okay, so we don't want to equip dwellers with any weapons, but we definitely want to dress them with the appropriate attire. And now the next one is sell 1 weapon or outfit. Okay, we can do that now because remember we gained a rusty laser, or I mean a rusty, I think it was a 44. So first thing we do is we go into the inventory button, which is right here. It's the Pip-Boy and then the inventory button. Now we'll find that, oh, it's a 32 pistol. Okay, so we click that, and then this is the sell button. It converts it into 10 caps. Good, and we've satisfied that objective. Oh, by the way, and there's the other 3. See, we're going to keep these in the inventory. We're not going to arm anyone with them because that way anybody can use these in an emergency, and we have easy access to them. Yeah, you don't want to be going around, running around trying to figure out who's got which weapon when you need to rearm somebody with that weapon. And outfits are kind of the same way, you know, but we do dress people with outfits because those are useful all the time. Okay, sell 1 weapon or outfit. Good, we did that too. That Vault Boy keeps popping up, but everyone's getting better. See, I mean, we're in the green now. Those resources really helped. So now we've got 3 collect objectives. Okay, so we'll just keep collecting resources until we satisfy all those. All right, now let's. Oh, look who came back. it's what's his name from the wasteland. So here's how you return him into the vault once he's returned. He stays outside the vault until you open the vault door, and the reason is, you don't want to open the vault door every single time someone comes back. You want to try to get as many people in and out in each time you open the vault door, because every time you open the door, you're going to attract enemies from miles around. You'll attract death claws and raiders. Alright, so he's pretty irradiated. Let's give him that rat away, and then we'll give him a stim pack. There, now he's in pretty good health. He could do a pretty good job somewhere. Oh yeah, he goes back into the strength room. Whoops! Well, that was quite a surprise. So these pop-up emergencies will happen all the time. Luckily, everyone has access to a fire extinguisher, so it only takes them a few seconds to put out the fire. That was easy. And then collect the resource while you're at it. And 2 more people leveled up. Hey, everyone's leveling up. Did you see that level 11? That was one of the dwellers that we got in a card in a lunchbox. Okay, so that guy's back to 2 strength. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to give him the commander fatigues. So once we put that on him, now let's take a look at his strength. And look at this. It's going to take 40 seconds to produce more power. And keep watching that. As soon as we put the commander fatigues on, look what it does. It significantly drops the time required to produce more resources. So the more people that are wearing the appropriate attire, the faster you'll produce resources. Now remember, there's something else that we can put on someone. Let's see, this person has a perception of 3, but remember the sheriff's duster will add 2 more. Now look, 1 minute 43 seconds, 1 minute 42, they're all the way down to 1 minute and 25 just because we put the sheriff's duster on that guy. That's pretty cool, huh? Alright, and now we're doing pretty good with water. We might expand the water room. I might do that offline, and then I'll show you what I did in the next episode. Now, meanwhile, we can do something about increasing production in the water treatment plant, because that's still our most dire emergency. So what I'm doing, I'm just finding the person who has the most perception, and I'm replacing him. Now you see what's happening? That lady is going to replace him in the diner, and then he's going to replace her in the water treatment plant. The reason I did that is because he had a high perception, and he'd do a better job in the water treatment plant than he would in the diner. That's the only reason I did that. And meanwhile, let's see if there's any more objectives. Well, now we have a extinguish a vault fire. Well, that's pretty easy. We just have to wait for another fire, and we'll satisfy that. All right, now the last note before we leave for this episode is to optimize your workers as much as possible. So just because you placed people into a room doesn't mean that they're there forever. They might actually do a better job somewhere else. So you just have to look at your roster and take a look at their attributes and look to see if they wouldn't do a better job in another room. And if the room is already full, that's okay. You plop them into the room like I just did, and then the UI will automatically find the least skilled worker in that room and then replace that person. Okay, well, that's all for this time. I hope you enjoyed the tips, and I hope you're enjoying this strategy guide. Keep in mind that if you subscribe to my channel, then you'll get all these Fallout Shelter strategy guide videos in your notifications. You'll also get Fallout 3. I happen to be one of the biggest uploaders of Fallout 3 videos on YouTube, and I also upload Skyrim. I'll be starting Fallout 4, obviously, in November. We'll see you next time in Vault 94. Thanks for watching.